Yobelim, Jubilees, chapter 24. And it came to be after the death of Abraham that Yahweh berakah Yitzhak his son, and he went up from Hebron and went and dwelt at berakah in the first year of the 3rd week of this Yovel, 7 years. And in the first year of the 4th week a scarcity of food began in the land, besides the first scarcity of food which had been in the days of Abraham. And Yaakov cooked lentil stew, and Esau came from the field hungry. And he said to Yaakov his brother, "Give me of this red stew." And Yaakov said to him, "Sell to me your birthright, and shall I give you bread, and also some of this lentil stew?" And Esau said in his heart, "I shall die. Of what profit to me is this birthright?" And he said to Yaakov, "I give it to you." And Yaakov said, "Swear to me this day." And he swore unto him. And Yaakov gave his brother Esau bread and stew, and he ate till he was satisfied. But Esau despised his birthright. For this reason was Esau's name called Edom, on account of the red stew which Yaakov gave him for his birthright. And Yaakov became the elder, and Esau was brought down from his dignity. And a scarcity of food was over the land, and Yitzhak departed to go down into Mitzrayim in the 2nd year of this week, and went to the sovereign of the Palestites, to Gerar, to Avimelech. And Yahweh appeared to him and said to him, "Do not go down into Mitzrayim, dwell in the land that I tell you, and sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you and berakah you. For to you and to your seed I shall give all this land, and I shall establish my oath which I swore unto Abraham your father, and I shall multiply your seed as the stars of the Shamayim, and shall give unto your seed all this land. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be baruch, because your father obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, and my commands, and my Torot, and my laws, and my covenant. And now obey my voice, and dwell in this land." And he dwelt in Gerar 3 weeks of years. And Avimelech commanded concerning him, and concerning all that was his, saying, "Any man that touches him, or any that is his, shall certainly die." And Yitzhak grew strong among the Palestites, and he gained many possessions, oxen and sheep and camels and donkeys, and a large household. And he sowed in the land of the Palestites, and brought in 100-fold. And Yitzhak became exceedingly great, and the Palestites envied him. Now all the wells which the servants of Abraham had dug during the life of Abraham, the Palestites had stopped them up after the death of Abraham, and filled them with earth. And Avimelech said to Yitzhak, "Go from us, for you are much mightier than we." And Yitzhak departed from there in the 1st year of the 7th week, and sojourned in the Wadi Gerar. And they dug again the wells of water which the servants of Abraham his father had dug, and which the Palestites had stopped up after the death of Abraham his father, and he called their names as Abraham his father had named them. And the servants of Yitzhak dug a well in the wadi, and found running water, and the shepherds of Gerar strove with the shepherds of Yitzhak, saying, "This water is ours." And Yitzhak called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with us. And they dug a 2nd well, and they strove for that too, and he called its name Sitnah. And he arose from there, and they dug another well, and they did not strive for that, and he called the name of it Rehoboth. And Yitzhak said, "Now Yahweh has made room for us, and we have increased in the land." And he went up from there to Beersheba in the 1st year of the 1st week in the 44th Yovel. And Yahweh appeared to him that night on the new moon of the 1st month, and said to him, "I am the Elohim of Abraham your father. Do not fear, for I am with you, and shall berakah you, and shall surely multiply your seed as the sand of the earth, for the sake of Abraham my servant." And he built an altar there which Abraham his father had first built, and he called on the name of Yahweh, and he offered an offering to the Elohim of Abraham his father. And they dug a well, and they found running water. And the servants of Yitzhak dug another well, but did not find water. And they went and told Yitzhak that they had not found water. And Yitzhak said, I have sworn this day to the Palestinites, and this matter has been announced to us. And he called the name of that place the Beersheba, for there he had sworn to Avimelech and Ahusath his friend, and Pichol the commander of his army. And Yitzhak knew that day that he had sworn to them under constraint to make peace with them. And Yitzhak on that day cursed the Palestinites and said, Cursed be the Palestinites unto the day of wrath and displeasure from the midst of all nations. May Elohim make them a mockery and a curse, and an object of wrath and displeasure in the hands of the sinners, the Gentiles, and in the hands of Kittim. And whoever escapes the sword of the enemy and of Kittim, may the righteous nation root out in judgment from under the Shamayim, for they shall be the enemies and foes of my children throughout their generations on the earth. And no remnant shall be left to them, nor one that shall be saved on the day of the wrath of judgment. For destruction and rooting out and expulsion from the earth is for the whole seed of the Palestinites, and there shall no longer be left a name for these, Caphtorim, or a seed on the earth. For though he ascends to the Shamayim, from there shall he be brought down, and though he makes himself strong on earth, from there shall he be dragged out. And though he hides himself among the nations, even from there shall he be rooted out. And though he descend into the grave, there also shall his punishment be great, and there also he shall have no peace. And if he goes into captivity, by the hands of those that seek his life shall they slay him on the way, and neither name nor seed shall be left to him on all the earth. For into everlasting reproach he shall depart. And thus it is written and engraved concerning him on the tablets of the Shamayim, to do unto him on the day of judgment, so that he may be rooted out of the earth. Yobelim, Jubilees, chapter 25. And in the 2nd year of this week in this Yovel, Rivkah called Yaakov her son, and spoke to him, saying, My son, do not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, as Esau your brother, who took 2 wives of the daughters of Canaan, and they have embittered my being with all their unclean deeds. For all their deeds are whoring and lust, and there is no righteousness with them because of evil. And I love you exceedingly, my son, and my heart and my affection berakah you every hour of the day and watch of the night. And now, my son, listen to my voice, and do the desire of your mother, and do not take yourself a wife of the daughters of this land, but only of the house of my father and of my father's relatives. You shall take a wife of the house of my father, and the Most High El shall berakah you, and your children shall be a righteous generation and a qadosh seed. And then Yaakov spoke to Rivkah his mother, and said to her, See, mother, I am 9 weeks of years old, and neither know nor have I touched any woman, nor have I engaged myself to any, nor even thought of taking myself a wife of the daughters of Canaan. For I remember, mother, the words of Abraham our father, for he commanded me not to take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, but to take for myself a wife from the seed of my father's house and from my relatives. I have heard before that daughters have been born to Laban your brother, and I have laid my heart on them to take a wife from among them. And for this reason I have guarded myself in my spirit against sinning or being corrupted in all my ways throughout all the days of my life. For with regard to lust and whoring, Abraham my father gave me many commands. And despite all that he has commanded me these 22 years, my brother has strove with me and spoken frequently to me and said, My brother, take to wife a sister of my 2 wives. But I refuse to do as he has done. I swear before you, mother, that all the days of my life I shall not take for myself a wife from the daughters of the seed of Canaan, and I shall not act wickedly as my brother has done. Do not fear, mother. Be assured that I shall do your desire and walk in uprightness and not corrupt my ways forever. And afterward she lifted up her face to the Shamayim, and extended the fingers of her hands, and opened her mouth, and berakah the Most High El, who created the Shamayim and the earth, and she gave him thanks and praise, and she said, Baruch be Yahweh Elohim, and may his Kodesh name be Baruch forever and ever, who has given me Yaakov as a pure son and a Kodesh seed, for he is yours, and his seed shall be yours continually and throughout all the generations forever. Barak him, O Adonai, and place in my mouth the berakoth of righteousness, that I may barak him. And in that hour, when the spirit of righteousness descended into her mouth, she placed both her hands on the head of Yaakov and said, Baruch are you, Adon of righteousness and Elohim of the ages, and may he barak you beyond all the generations of men. May he give you, my son, the path of righteousness, and reveal righteousness to your seed. And may he make your sons many during your life, and may they arise according to the number of the months of the year, and may their sons become many and great beyond the stars of the Shamayim, and their numbers be more than the sand of the sea. And may he give them this good land, as he said he would give it to Abraham and to his seed after him always, and may they hold it as an everlasting possession. And may I see to you, my son, Baruch children during my life, and a Baruch and Kodesh seed may all your seed be. And as you have refreshed your mother's spirit during life, the womb of her that bore you barak you, and my breast barak you, and my mouth and my tongue praise you greatly. Increase and spread over the earth, and may your seed be perfect in the joy of the Shamayim and earth forever. And may your seed rejoice, and on the great day of peace may it have peace. And may your name and your seed endure to all the ages. And may the Most High El be their Elohim, and may the Elohim of righteousness dwell with them, and by them may his Mikdash be built unto all the ages. Baruch is he that barak you, and all flesh that curses you falsely may it be cursed. And she kissed him and said to him, May Yahweh of the world love you as the heart of your mother, and her affection rejoice in you and barak you. And she ceased from berakoth. Yobelim, Jubilees, chapter 26. And in the 7th year of this week, Yitzchak called Esau, his elder son, and said to him, I am old, my son, and see, my eyes are dim in seeing, and I do not know the day of my death. And now take your hunting weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt and catch for me my son, and make me a tasty dish, such as my being loves, and bring it to me that I may eat, and that my being may barak you before I die. But Rivkah heard Yitzchak speaking to Esau, and Esau went out early to the field to hunt and catch and bring home to his father. And Rivkah called Yaakov her son and said to him, See, I heard Yitzchak your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, Hunt for me and make me a tasty dish, and bring to me that I may eat and barak you before Yahweh before I die. And now, my son, obey my voice in that which I command you. Go to your flock and fetch me 2 choice young goats, and I shall make them a tasty dish for your father, such as he loves, and you shall bring to your father that he may eat and barak you before Yahweh before he dies, and that you may be Baruch. And Yaakov said to Rivkah his mother, Mother, I shall not withhold any matter which my father would eat, and which would please him, only I fear my mother, that he shall recognize my voice and want to touch me. And you know that I am smooth, and Esau my brother is hairy, and I shall appear before his eyes as an evildoer, and shall do a deed which he had not commanded me, and he shall be wroth with me, and I shall bring upon myself a curse, and not a berakah. And Rivkah his mother said to him, Your curse be upon me, my son, only obey my voice. And Yaakov obeyed the voice of Rivkah his mother, and went and fetched 2 choice and fat young goats, and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared them such as he loved. And Rivkah took the best garments of Esau her elder son, which was with her in the house, and she clothed Yaakov her younger son, and she put the skins of the young goats upon his hands, and on the exposed parts of his neck. And she gave the meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Yaakov. And Yaakov went into his father and said, I am your son. I have done accordingly as you asked me. Arise and sit and eat of that which I have caught, father, that your being may berakah me. And Yitzhak said to his son, How have you found so quickly, my son? And Yaakov said, Because your Elohim has caused me to find. And Yitzhak said to him, Come near, that I may feel you, my son, if you are my son Esau or not. And Yaakov went near to Yitzhak his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Yaakov's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, because it was caused from the Shamayim to remove his power of perception, and Yitzhak did not recognize, for his hands were hairy as Esau's, so that he berakah him. And he said, Are you my son Esau? And he said, I am your son. And he said, Bring near to me, that I may eat of that which you have caught, my son, that my being may berakah you. And he brought near to him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And Yitzhak his father said to him, Come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garment, and he berakah him and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which Yahweh has berakah. And may Yahweh give you of the dew of the Shamayim, and of the dew of the earth, and plenty of grain and oil. Let nations serve you, and peoples bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. And may all the berakoth with which Yahuwah has berakah me and berakah Abraham my father be given to you and to your seed forever. Cursed be he that curses you, and Baruch be he that berakah you. And it came to be, as soon as Yitzhak had made an end to berakah his son Yaakov, and Yaakov had gone out from Yitzhak his father, Esau his brother came in from hunting. And he also made a tasty dish, and brought it to his father, and said to his father, Let my father arise, and eat of my wild game, that your being may berakah me. And Yitzhak his father said to him, Who are you? And he said to him, I am your firstborn, your son Esau. I have done as you have commanded me. And Yitzhak was greatly astonished, and said, Who is he that has hunted and caught and brought to me, and I have eaten of all before you came, and have berakah him? He shall be Baruch, and all his seed forever. And it came to be, when Esau heard the words of his father Yitzhak, that he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Berakah me too, father. And he said to him, Your brother came with deceit, and has taken away your berakah. And he said, Now I know why his name is called Yaakov. See, he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now he has taken away my berakah. And he said, Have you not reserved a berakah for me, father? And Yitzhak answered and said to Esau, See, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him for servants, and with plenty of grain and wine and oil I have strengthened him. And what now shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to Yitzhak his father, Have you but one berakah, O father? Berakah me too, father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yitzhak answered and said to him, See, far from the dew of the earth shall be your dwelling, and far from the dew of the Shamayim from above. And by your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to be, when you become great, and shake his yoke from off your neck, you shall sin a complete sin unto death, and your seed shall be rooted out from under the Shamayim. And Esau kept threatening Yaakov because of the berakah with which his father berakah him, and he said in his heart, May the days of mourning for my father now come, so that I may slay my brother Yaakov.